And here we go. I missed that voice, Wolf. I missed his boisterous voice, always leading the runaway charge. I think I've maybe heard 2 in the history of this team that he was not cheering at the beginning.
Well, Achilios, here we go.
That's the only bias I have for Runaway, is that guy's voice.
We've got counter comp coming out here for Runaway already. Slime will run the Mercy to pocket Stitch's Widow. He used Lucio to get them into positional advantage with the speed boost. BlossoM doing the same with Dotori. There's going to be Illicit and Ons running the Pharah Hanzo that's more meta, but on this map, you have a lot of room to work with the Widow. As you can see, Stitch here just trying to get line of sight on the tanks, knowing the Pharah is often going to be out of reach.
Oh, taking Dotori down to 5 HP. The passive regen comes in, but it's not going to be enough. Another shot comes through. Stitch takes him down, and Runaway going to be able to very easily pick up this first cap just on the back of that single pick. Twilight goes down, but the rest of it from Slime just brings them straight back into the fray.
Yeah, they get a res out of it, but it's pretty insignificant in the grand scheme of things. And Stitch has full line of sight advantage right now. It's a tough matchup, Hanzo versus high ground Widow here. So what BlossoM will have to do is flank or use the Pharah. Uh-oh, this could be a
dive into the back swoon, getting caught off guard. All on its lonesome, and now maybe the Mercy to follow. Charging in the Wits into the D.Va here, trying to mitigate the damage, but it's actually just going to be a pop out there.
Beautiful plays here.
And a near team wipe just comes through. Runaway just taking this one to the bank.
Runaway abuses the fact that in order for Ons to do damage on the Hanzo, he has to close the gap. He has to come in towards the tanks, so the tank dive comes in with him on the side of BlossoM. That leaves the supports open. Runaway sees that in an instant. The best teams in Korea right now are able to identify this quickly. They see the supports are left alone. They avoid the tanks, disengage the front line, and send it into the backline to kill those supports. Illicit gets picked again.
Yeah, res coming out from Dotori, just trying to bring him back in quickly. Pulse Bomb now going to be down. Hawksalt hunting, has this in for sight, sees Ons, comes around the corner, has the backup in from Bumper, and he's going to go deep. The Primal Rage goes in, takes care of Ons, has plenty of ult remaining to rejoin, and everybody is in a nice small room where Janu can pick up a double kill with the self-destruct. Illicit going to go down. Mercy doesn't stand a chance, and Runaway are just winning this one out, stomping BlossoM, making it look like quick play.
Sia gets the staggered death here, and they're going to have one more play. And it's a positional disadvantage they have to approach from. They have both support ultimates, but they face the same on the side of Runaway. The one tool they will have are the tank ultimates, and that's going to be really how this point will be flipped, if flipped at all. They're going to have to use the support ultimates to get into position, then use the Primal Rage through that. As Huxel flexing to the Tracer here in this meta, looks for a backline pick. They're diving on the Widow.
Yeah, every single time, Ons does not stand a chance. They know him, they know his reputation, and that's why they're going to keep attacking him over and over again. Mineral going down, Primal Rage not enough to keep him alive. Transcendence coming in from Swoon, Pulse Bomb comes down, Huxel finds Illicit. Rez from Dotori brings Mineral back into the fight, but Huxel's going deep, trying to get rid of those supports, but actually gets clipped by the self-destruct from CS. So 2 kills picked up as BlossoM might finally be able to get the Swift.
They had a clear mission, they had a clear objective, get the tanks on the point. We did see the death of Mineral there come through, even with the Primal, but the self-destruct got them the point. The bigger issue here, though, is the 0 to 100 they have to now work through, as Runaway has so much time to build an ult advantage. However, for the first time, they had control this point. Ons gets taken out. Be surprised if he doesn't switch back to the Widow here to get onto this point, but they have a limited amount of time because Runaway's not going to give him much here. They're diving on the supports already.
Yeah, they're jumping in, looking for Swoon here. Listen, in the meantime, going dangerously low off screen. Looking to just get the Zenyatta corner of the pocket is different from Dotori, but that means that nobody is healing the tanks in the front line, and that's why Sia's going to get popped out of the max. Swoon manages to bounce back, finds the kill in onto Bumper. So far, just going to be the 1-for-1, and Mineral, the Primal Rage, will get rid of Stitch, and the res is there for the D.Va. So BlossoM will be able to hold for now as Slime falls.
Yeah, and Ons is sticking with the Tracer. They got a good trade there off of the Brigitte pick. It's very difficult for Huxel to operate on this Tracer as an attacking Tracer into a defensively set up Brigitte. Now everyone's got that passive armor from the rally as well. So Runaway's going to struggle here. They're going to have a really coordinated drive. He holds the Pulse Bomb still, and that's going to be their best way to open up this point, but they have to break through the armor first. The Discord arm target is going to be important.
Well, Valkyrie going to be ready to go. 15% or so on that Transcendence out from Twilight. BlossoM's ult's ready. Ons trying to throw in the Pulse Bomb, not going to find it, but can he get the one? No, he does not. Twilight stays alive, and Oxall takes Sia out of the mech yet again. Bumper gonna get shredded down. The Transcendent's not on top of the Winston, and now Slime also going to fall. BlossoM are actually taking this fight. They're trying to force the overtime here on their side as they maintain control of the point.
Listen, flex to the Brigida is really paying off in dividends here despite Ons failing to get that kill early on. The Brigida pick just gives them that extra passive armor. Ons just continues to get the E armor as well from Illicit's heal here. Of course, over max health gives you the armor, so he's got this extra armor several times. And now they're just trying to rush on the point to retake. The self-destruct isn't going to kill anybody.
Yeah, not going to get
dire.
And Janu, he just can't get back into the mech. Now we're in the double overtime, 99-99. Self-destruct out from Sia, not finding anything either, keeping RunAway off the point for the moment. Ons tossing out another pulse bomb, manages to find Hawksaw, of all people, gets rid of the enemy Tracer, and just like that, BlossoM might have turned this one around. No one from RunAway can get on. They finally do tag in, 2 members into the backside. In the meantime, Mineral trying to get in on the Twilight, sets up the jump. Twilight tries to get in there, but he can't do it fast enough. Bumper was taken down, and against all odds and expectations, BlossoM manages to make the miracle comeback, flipping it at 99% and then taking it all the way home for the win.
RunAway unwilling to make the Brigida switch, and it was a late switch from Stitch to the Pharah to try to avoid it, try to circumvent it. And they were operating a lot on their dive, which is what RunAway is most famous for. They defined what it meant to be, you know, Ana, Lucio, and the Genji Tracer, right? They defined that with the Winston along with Lunatic High, but RunAway was considered to be superior at it. It was only because Jaehong's sleep darts were so good that they ended up losing that Season 2 finals when dive was the meta. They're fantastic at dive, but Brigida makes it so difficult to utilize that same composition. Hawksaw will this time play a different dive hero, the Genji, as we enter this, but BlossoM's running the triple tank, the solo DPS Widow here, and it's going to be very difficult to break through with this Genji against the Brigida yet again. And the extra shields that Orisa provides means that Stitch is going to have a hard time finding line of sight as well.
Yeah, you can see them trying to do that little duel, but Stitch has to break the barrier first before he can really get any damage in. Ons peeking again, finds a headshot there on the Bumper. Fortunately for Bumper, not going to be a damage-boosted Widow, but still a significant chunk of damage. RunAway going to get the initial cap yet again, as BlossoM just keeps posturing forward, trying to shift up this barrier and try to get closer and closer to the point. Nice headshot there from Stitch to dissuade them, and actually leads to the kill on the Mineral.
Hawksaw's already 60% to a Dragon Blade as well. Just maximizing damage with left clicks here, dodging hooks, getting the deflect. He's going to have that blade very momentarily here. Look at the difference between Twilight and Swoon in terms of ult charge as well. I mean, Hawksaw is leading his team to a position where they have ultimate advantage, and he's going to be able to potentially dive the supports in the backline. Ons is trying to flank right now, unseen.
Oh, look for the angle there. Hawksaw going to go low, but now they know where Ons is, so should be playing this one a bit more carefully. Yeah, now Bumper, he's back on a Widowmaker duty. Can't get the kill this time around, but does shove him back away from the point. Takes a lot of damage in trade, has to pick up that Mega back in the meantime. It's going to be the Dragon Blade out from Hawksaw, but he's going to get hooked down. Dashes through, manages to stay alive, but now the whole hog is pushing him away. He cannot get that execution onto Mineral, and it's going to be Janu actually taken out of the mech in the meantime.
Yeah, this is still a winning fight for RunAway, though, it looks like, as Hawksaw is just doing maximum amounts of damage. C is taken out.
Trying to trade it back here. No tanks available. Mineral just now going to be respawning. Illicit jumped on, will fall as Bumper burns him down. RunAway, plenty of ultimates to work with here, as the Infrasight was used, but
the swap,
see, Valkyrie and Transcendence are there.
The swap from Illicit back to the Hanzo feels a little bit puzzling here, because sure, it helps them break the tanks that are going to dive upon Ons, but because Ons doesn't have positional advantage, might be a better opportunity for them to use the Brigida to slowly shove forward, so that when the dive comes through and Hawksaw's trying to be aggressive, they can get the stun and lock him down. They do pick off Stitch, that's a start.
Ons manages to find that headshot, but now he is under fire, but it will not go down yet again. Slime, though, in position, brings Stitch back in. Illicit has this Dragon Strike ready to go. We'll have to see where he wants to throw this one.
Right on the point.
Straight through the wall. Janu going up into the air, gonna just toss that self-destruct, looking for a pickoff. Not gonna find anything. He will go down, can't make it back into the suit. But it's still gonna be RunAway coming up trumps. They have the majority of the kills. Satori going dangerously low, gets finished off by Bumper. Transcendence in onto the point. And just like that, it goes 99-99. But now RunAway are looking for the 99-0 to close out Sanctum.
Yeah, Hawksaw's going to get the final kills here on the point. Overtime ticks down, and we're going to a map 3 here of Nepal. As Sanctum goes the way of RunAway. Very interesting situation here, because in the first set, it was basically controlled by the Brigida pick that weakened the dive that meant that RunAway struggled to get value out of Huxall running the Tracer, their tank dive onto the supports that were well protected by the burst heal that Brigida provides as well as the stun. So as you moved into this, they felt the Hanzo would be better defensively against RunAway's dive to protect Ons, but because they couldn't actually get into a place where Ons could even fire, it wasn't the issue of the tanks diving, it was the issue of the Genji diving with his extra mobility. And it was a rough time when there was no Brigida to stun, and unfortunately Illicit's Hanzo seemed pretty irrelevant. We're going to have the Pharah Widow duel here. The first time we have straight mirrored compositions out the gate.
Huxall over onto that Pharah. Sia already being forced to use the defense matrix. Just get safely out of the point. Ons coming around the backside looking for Huxall. Doesn't have the angle to snipe him yet, as these Pharahs just going to start dueling it out to the best of their ability. Landing those body shots always going to be difficult.
Speaking of duels, Ons concedes control of this right side, but he's going to look for the tanks.
Decent angle, but Stitch comes up with the kill onto Tori. And already, RunAway going to lock down the point yet again, and Sia even gets knocked out of the mech for a nice little stagger coming in.
Looking really good for RunAway here now. Those BlossoM switch composition are going to have to approach against Stitch's line of sight now, with Huxall being able to take free pot shots along the way if they want to keep this comp the same. But I don't know if there is a counter to what RunAway is doing unless BlossoM wants to go straight dive themselves, and even that, with this positional disadvantage, will be difficult to execute. They're not good at dive. That was the weakness of them in Season 1. They were weak at the Sombra, weak at the dive. So they're just going to have to play against line of sight here. Mineral's going to try to draw the attention away with this back cap.
He's got to leap out of there, though. He goes low. Will get healed back up, but Sia's out of the mech. Janu able to go ahead, win that one out, and Huxall takes him down. Oh, Baby Diva to be found here for the side of BlossoM. Barrage ready to go. Illicit's still a ways away. He's only at 70% now, and the Tori will get picked off. Ons is just constantly under fire from Bumper, diving in the backside. And RunAway nearly with 6 ultimates ready to go. 5 of the ones that actually matter.
Yeah.
The Infra Sight going to be a nice little
It'll be a bonus.
cherry on top. Yeah, just to know which way they're pathing. But otherwise,
The cool thing about this for RunAway is they want to just delay without using all of their ultimates. They can use ultimates to retake.
here it comes. Primal Rage ready to go should he need to use it. And there's a nice little ledge that he can try to knock the Widowmaker off of. And yeah, Primal Rage is going to come through. In the meantime, Barrage used by Huxall gets rid of Sia. And Illicit goes down as Twilight snipes him out of the sky. Bumper falls low, but manages to leap back to safety. And Stitch takes down Ons, doing what Bumper was trying to do.
Yeah, Tori isn't in position. Looks like he's going to try to res now. It's going to come through here, I think, in just a second. Actually, it looks like he just barely missed it. Ons gets the respawn. And RunAway just has positional advantage, ult advantage. There's going to be one opportunity to try to Transcendence in for Illicit to get a barrage off, but it's going to be so difficult. Here it comes.
He's already going to be dead. The Barrage coming down, but he can't do anything. Stitch just takes his head off. And will we have it back-to-back 99 to 0s? It's looking like a yes. Huxall will get popped by that self-destruct Transcendence in, but it's just the healers all on their lonesome. Ons can't push forward. He's got no HP. Swoon's gonna die. Tori cannot make it back in. And 99 to 0 starts off rough with the 199 loss there, but RunAway, they come back in and they dominate the remainder of the ball.
They did it cleanly there in the end, and they'll take the first set. But in terms of hero swaps, you know, I feel like we have nothing bad to say about RunAway, but on the side of BlossoM, hero swaps were what won them the first point on Shrine. But as we went into Sanctum and Village, they weren't ahead of the curve in terms of comps. On Sanctum, it was pretty easy to make that switch to counter the Genji, but as we went into Village, there really isn't another hero you can play in this meta. You can't move away from the Pharah Widow. Against the Pharah Widow that has positional advantage on you, you're going to struggle no matter which way it happens. So, Flowervin in the booth with Young One here, having some talks with Huxall, as Embassy's gathering Huxall's insane stats.
I like to think that he was like taking a really awkward selfie with Huxall. It's just like, hey, real quick. It's just like a fan who just like snuck into the booth real quick.
Well, historically speaking, the most commonly picked map for Hybrid for BlossoM was Hollywood. This is the map type that both teams have the highest win rate on in terms of all 2018 stats, including trials. It's 9-3 for BlossoM and 8-3 for RunAway. So this is their best map type. RunAway not actually having the greatest stats compared to some of the other teams in this league because most of the regular season matches were pretty close. And obviously they didn't make it to the grand finals with a clean score either. So RunAway ends up, having this map score though, the closest to BlossoM's. This is going to be perhaps the closest map that we see, and it's going to be Widowmaker dominated if we go to the Hollywood. If we go to Numbani, there's certain elements of Widowmaker there, but it's been mostly dive we've seen thus far in this tournament.
I mean, I can guess that we're probably not going to see BlossoM pick Blizzard World. That's the one thing that I can be willing to put some money down on. Is don't pick that against RunAway. The only ones to play that in the regular season, in Season 1, were the first ones to show that to us. Picked it twice the second time out. Didn't work out so well, but you know that they know that map like the back of their hand, so I think you definitely want to try to avoid that. But RunAway's been around for so long. They played all of these maps thousands of times, between competitive games, scrims, and just a regular solo queue. These guys are going to be pretty prepared, especially with Mangwan on the team now, to basically tackle any single map that BlossoM is going to throw at them.
Yeah, it's a good question, like where we will go. So we're going to take a look at some fan science here. But wow.
All right. I like that face. Can that be a Twitch emote, please?
Yeah. Genji's like, bro. That's literally what it says.
Yeah. Young, please.
Timar.
I really want to find whoever's holding the sign, and then I just want to get a nice screenshot of that and then add that as one of my Twitch emotes. But we got a nice little team drawing coming through. Runner chilling there with the, I guess he's got his name tattooed across his face, but he's got his military helmet on in the army.
Pointing out Flower Bin there as well. We've got new addition Somin Su and Hureg on the left side. The Hureg drawing very good. Speaking of good drawings, play of the game, Haksal on the Genji. Never forget his first times playing in Apex. His name basically means like genocide or like violent,
bloody massacre.
Bloody massacre. So that's what his name means in Korean, and fitting for his play style. Another RunAway fan drawing Tracer here.
Some big old ears.
Yeah. That's a Stitch. That's a that's Stitch's name on the left.
I guess it's supposed to be like Stitch, like
Stitch.
the character's ears.
Yeah. That's why it's got the Stitch ears there.
Yeah.
It's a Stitch's Korean name on the left side.
But
well, let's find out where we're headed. I feel like Hollywood's the comfort pick. It's the normal standard, but we may see more further depth from BlossoM in this map choice. It's going to tell us a lot about where they're at, where their head's at in this series. We're going to take a look at the records before doing so. As you can see, Hollywood, their most played map type of 4 sets in Contenders only. Very competitive point record as well, whereas on the side of RunAway, they end up with a 5-5. Half the times played on Hollywood in Contenders, of course. If you look at their Apex history, they've got a more storied one. They obviously prefer the Icon Ball. We know this to be true, and they had a flawless record on it last season. The Blizzard World, they go 1-1. Remember, they picked it in their first series in playoffs, and then when they played again, they misunderstood why they were so successful in Blizzard World against Panthera, because they didn't have a strong Widow player, and then on their second round around, they had a lot tougher of a time. It will be the Hollywood pick, so no shocker here.
So bringing out Hollywood is BlossoM. Have we seen Hollywood yet?
No, this is our first time.
I was going to say, first time in Season 2. Plenty of it in Season 1. King's Row, not so much. Maybe we'll get some more King's Row action coming in. Always
this is why I love
one of the most balanced hybrid maps.
I love our format because every team has a style, and in this meta, you really get to show it, I feel, because it's one of the most flexible metas we've ever had. You pointed this out a few days ago when we were casting. It's pretty diverse because it used to be pretty fixed, so it's cool to see all these different maps here since we have all the maps available.
Including Rialto, which we saw a couple days ago.
Yeah.
First time that we had that one out, and oh boy, we get a treat Stitch on his McCree.
That's right. So it's going to be the Protect the McCree. However, not going to be with the Junkrat as extra peel. It will be with the Pharah. We will see the Pharah Hanzo attack. I think pretty reasonable, better than the Widow attack here. And Tracer not really an option in this meta. So they're going to try to use the Hanzo to burst the tanks. But in order to do so, they have to get in position. They're not running Lucio, so it's going to be a slow approach. As you can see, they're going to go up here onto the left side. And oh, look at this, they find a Bumper.
Yeah, they find Bumper just chilling out in the back. He was waiting for an opportunity.
Storm Arrow connects.
And it's just to take down Hawksall. The risk is going to come out here from Slime. And he already takes another body tag. Hawksall falling so dangerously low as more Storm Arrows come raining down and Bumper will crumble. Stitch manages to trade out for Illicit. Still going to be a 1-for-1 here at the moment, but Ons is unhindered. He is just spamming away, and he nearly has that Dragon Strike ready to go.
Yep, and the respawns are going to come in much faster for BlossoM, so these even trades work in their favor. Here's the Sonic Arrow to try to set up for that Dragon Strike. He doesn't have it yet, so he's going to have to wait for a better opportunity.
Poking around the corner here is Janu. Bubble going to mitigate a lot of damage. It's going to be the Dragon Strike rolling through straight onto the point, but everybody's just kind of staying back into the cafe, so not going to be getting the most damage coming in. Sia knocked out of the mech. Will get taken down there by Janu. Transcendence in, keeping Mineral alive. The Barrage coming down. Hawksall ripping apart the Baby Diva, but not getting much else other than that. Swoon. The decent position is helping to keep everybody else alive, and Stitch is able to push forward and takes down Tori, which means that Illicit has to get the hell out of there because he's only got a sliver of HP.
Can't believe he survives, actually. He does get healed back up here from Tori. He's stuck, though, in an odd spot.
Yeah, nearly goes down. Would have been a nice extra stagger on top for RunAway.
That was...
Managed to hold off, but don't have that many ultimates ready to go.
Yeah, it was a really cool barrage by Hawksall. He knew the perfect timing of the bubble going down and actually did a lot of damage, even though he only got the kill on the Pilot Diva, as you mentioned. Janu, very vulnerable here. He's the target initially.
Oh, gonna be all right for the moment. Deadeye coming in. Could just pop the mech, and he's gonna have to settle for that, but the self-destruct's gonna be ready to go. Gets the flashbang in, and Mineral taken down even through the primal range. Sia manages to make his way out, but Illicit cannot say the same.
And this right here is why, you know, as much as I love Hureg, and he's one of my, I think, favorite players we ever saw in Apex, one of the most inspiring Soldier 76s, I don't know how much we'll see him fielded. I mean, Stitch, he was a mediocre McCree for most of his career, but it didn't matter because he was straight Tracer. But once McCree became meta, he stepped it up, and now he's one of the best in the league, so.
And that's what we saw, you know, from all of RunAway. Really was just added flexibility coming through from them in Season 1. Hawksall with the Junkrat, of course, was a big one for them. Mineral already going to get taken down. Tries to just jump in to poke out to get another primal range, but doesn't get much of anything. He's still just sitting at 22%.
The communication for RunAway to burst down Mineral with the Discord Orb has been flawless every time. It's Hawksall, Stitch, and Twilight that focus in on him and blow him up while Bumper and Janu support the supports. You know, they give him extra peel there when the dive comes through, or not rather dive, but when Mineral and Sia try to counteract that. And then the tanks get blown up in that moment because the focus fire is good. We're going to see it again. Look, everyone instantly focuses on Mineral and Sia, and they get burst down.
Yeah, and that's why they immediately have to drop onto the low ground. Can't play up inside the cafe. Hawksall looking for a back angle. Barrage coming down from Illicit, though. Gonna be fighting too, and Hawksall taken out by Ons. So his barrage not gonna be able to answer. And maybe BlossoM can actually get this cap. Bumper's gonna go down. Janu's up. But can he tag in? Can he buy enough time here for the rest of RunAway to arrive? They have so many ultimates that you would expect they could hold this with. Destruct's not going to be able to be used, and he can't make it back into the mech. And that's going to be the cap coming in for BlossoM after all. RunAway still multiple ultimates to use on the hold during the Streets phase, but look like they might have been able to actually execute that full hold if they could have just bought a little more time.
The most impressive fars we've seen so far in Korea have been the ones that are able to slip unnoticed. Oftentimes when you don't fire for a long extended period of time, sometimes the tank line forgets where you are, and you can get these barrages off onto the back line as we saw there from Illicit. So similar to Ding we saw 2 days ago, he's just able to outmaneuver RunAway in just one moment. Had Bumper had the most important ult of all, the Primal Rage, they buy time and use all those ultimates like you said, but he just didn't have it, unfortunately, only at like 70%. And now Ons gets to play at his playground. He's on the high ground here, dueling against Stitch. This is where he has had the most success in his career, is on the streets phase of Hollywood. Man, it feels like he's grown up in the streets of Hollywood himself. Just as we see, Ons gets caught though.
Down, yeah, and that's going to be Swoon as well. Getting caught up in the explosion. Sia able to take down Hawksall, but the damage has been done. Tori is going to say, pick a target. Which one do you want to res? The answer is going to be neither of them because he himself will die. And Bumper is coming up with a double. Looking for the triple, but can't get the pin there onto the wall onto Sia. So he'll just be able to exit. But another great use of the Primal Rage here from RunAway.
And it's one of those moments where you see the Pharah player slip in, you know, unnoticed, get on top of the Widowmaker of all heroes, burst Ons down before he can react. And then everything falls apart. Bumper did use the Primal Rage well, but it's a tool they're missing now. Illicit does have another barrage. Hoxall's going to make the switch after that into the Genji to try to further dive on to make his life miserable. As you can see, he's already trying to sneak over. Finds Illicit instead.
Illicit, yeah, in a really awkward spot as the shots keep coming through. Self-destruct going to be tossed out, trying to get rid of that baby diva. Manages to do it. The final right click from Hoxall will take him down, but Slime was caught up in the explosion. Now Stitch taken out by Illicit. Twilight's trying to trade one back, tries to get that kill on the Pharah. Cannot do so, gets taken down by Mineral. And BlossoM are going to get a lot of space here on the street space. 45 seconds remaining, so not the biggest time bank, but RunAway are giving up ground.
Now, Ons has control of line of sight as well on the left side. The tanks control the right side. Although he loses the matchup, looks like he was readjusting his scope there, and Stitch gets the blind shot right across. Insta-kills him, very impressive here. Wish we could see a replay.
Oh, looking for more. Nearly had that headshot there onto Illicit. Bumper in the meantime.
RunAway can spill out now. They can spill out of that left side and control this cart.
Now that the res has come through, Bumper's back in. Will be able to push forward. Hoxall up onto the high ground, looking for that Dragon Blade. 25% left to go. Bubble gonna be pulsing him up a little bit. We can see these left clicks just ticking it up so very rapidly. BlossoM has to be on the spot here, to be so well prepared to counter this blade. That's a good way to start. He's just gonna get taken out the poison trap after the shot. We'll finish him off, but we're into overtime. It's just gonna be the one pick. Slime not able to move forward, not able to get that res, and Bumper just a couple percentage away from that primal range will fall. Twilight trades one back onto Swoon, but that's about it. BlossoM are going to be getting this cap here on the B.
Very well played here, taking a pick and utilizing the ability to just shove through, forcing Illicit into a place where, or moving with him, protecting him, escorting him to a place where RunAway is forced to fight in an inferior position, and also Stitch can't have line of sight. Now Mineral's going to trade up onto Bumper, who overextended, and BlossoM is just getting so much free push from this. They're getting ult charge. Illicit still holds the barrage. And Ons, if he can get around this corner, this is the toughest part for a Widow on attack. This part right here, and he gets through. He's able to get line of sight. This is his toughest moment. He even has the Empress sight, which means he can reposition. This is fantastic for BlossoM.
Still have to go to the distance with less than a minute remaining here as they start poking out. Stitch looking for the angle, takes a bit of damage there from that rocket. Has his own Empress sight up. Multitude of ultimates here for RunAway to try to stop this push, but honestly, given the way that things were looking on point A, it might have gotten
the blade
than you would have expected. The blade's coming out, he goes into the back, Hoxall takes that Discord Orb though, looking for Swoon, deflection comes in, and Bumper eliminated by that self-destruct off screen. Just gonna be the one pick coming in off the back of the Dragon Blade, and now Hoxall will get taken down by Mineral in trade.
Very disjointed attack here for RunAway. Hoxall, if he killed both supports, it's totally different, but he was unable to do so. And now BlossoM is just trading up, getting so much free distance on a weak time bank, which is just more than you could have ever bargained for, given how low the time was.
Getting low though, Mineral going to be falling dangerously low with that HP bar. Self-destruct comes in, the bubbles expires, I think, right at the last second, and no one's on that payload. Can't make it back in time. They managed to get the hold, but you really have to wonder if that primal rage was available on point A, would BlossoM ever have even gotten this far? Either way, RunAway, it's their, they're the ones responsible for allowing this to happen. Weak time banks all the way through, but they struggle in the street space. They struggle at the start of that final stretch.
Yeah,
and they give BlossoM a lot of ground.
They do, and it's BlossoM's literally their best map and their best point on the map is that street space from A to B. So, unfortunately, because RunAway did kind of flub up the defense on A, they gave them that strength. And then from B to C, which they almost had that C completion, they were able to have better ult efficiency, and that Dragon Blade disjointed dive that we saw was what allowed them to push so far. So they get a great amount of distance. And now as we switch to defense, let's see what they want to run, because I feel like we might have to see for the first time, realistically here, in an extended period, not just the flex swap we saw in Nepal, the Hanzo come out on attack for RunAway.
Yeah.
Because this is going to be usually how you're going to break a defense that's multi-tank, like the one we're seeing from the side of BlossoM with the Orisa. And, the comp they're showing right now is pretty unique, and it is solo support. But it is possible that with the burst damage they have here and an EMP, they could break through. But I don't think we're actually going to see this come to pass. It would be creative, to say the least. It could work. In theory, the idea is there, but you're gonna have a hard time with lack of healing. You only have the burst that comes through from the Discord Orb. They're holding it for now, though, so if you can get Stitch into position while Huxall is harassing, maybe it works out, but...
This is probably just going to be Slime checking out, seeing what the comp is, sprinting forward with the invisibility. Stitch here with the McCree. Yep, Slime will just jump back with the translocator.
It's a new style we've been seeing recently.
Will be the Mercy. So yeah, rather than trying to go for the Hanzo with the Sonic Arrow, don't want to take that away from a DPS player, and also, especially on Hollywood, you're not going to be seeing a whole lot of anything, as Hans is just landing these body tags.
So even though they switch off the Sombra, which again just becomes our new like peeking thing over the Sonic Arrow, it's going to be very difficult to attack with this composition. Stitch needs to be shoved onto the point in order to do maximum damage.
Well, that's what they're trying to do. They're really just trying to shoehorn their way in, but the rocket from Illicit, who's been having a really wonderful bar so far this series, will find the kill there on a Hawksall. Stitch going to be heal denied, kites his way around to the backside.
He sneaks around, they don't know where he is.
Oh.
Okay, they know now.
Yep, okay. Well, there's Sonic Arrow, and there's a headshot. Ons takes him down, and the Dragon Strike is just about ready to go, 14% away.
So, yeah, I mean, Sombra aside, this comp is still going to struggle against the defensive setup. But I think the issue was not the Genji, more so was the McCree. The Pharah can give you a little bit of opportunity to distract BlossoM, draw their attention away, and then get the McCree on the point, but this is not going to be easy. Here comes the Dragon Strike,
yeah,
good angle.
That one through. Bumper going to take a little bit of damage, but otherwise everybody can scatter safely as they get a little bit of room here onto the point.
I think Janu ate that, by the way. I don't think that actually came out.
Yeah, maybe he did actually. Couldn't really tell. But either way, zero consequence really for the side of RunAway. Bumper will fall. On's taken down by Hawksall, finding that direct hit. He's got to bounce back away from that self-destruct. Twilight has that Transcendence rolling. Slime taken out by Illicit, who is still in the sky, still has his Pharmacy comp ready to go. Body shot comes in, Hawksall going low, needs a follow-up hit, can't get it, but he finds Satori instead! And Janu will pick up Illicit, and this should be RunAway snatching point A.
Very close call here on this attack for RunAway, but they get the better time bank here. Gonna drop in with 418. And they were able to get Stitch onto the point through, you know, that shutdown of the Dragon Blade, which either, we didn't have a camera shot of it, but we have to assume Janu was able to well position and absorb, because that was the key there. They needed to get the tanks there on the front line so Stitch can get onto the point. And Janu, if he eats that Dragon Strike, I said Dragon Blade, but if he eats the Dragon Strike, then, you know, that's the peel that BlossoM was reliant upon, and then they end up getting Stitch on the point. He does massive damage with Hawksall together.
BlossoM playing very forward here as we start off the Streets phase for RunAway. Both tank ults available. Hawksall going into the back, looking for Ons, takes him so very low, and Bumper is there to scoop up the kill. Now the Primal Rage is going to come out. Swoon's going to go down. Hawksall dangerously low, manages to dash his way to safety, but oh, Notori locking himself in prison with an angry monkey. He'll get taken down. Stitch able to get that final blow.
And this is also a great map for Dive versus the Widowmaker, which is one of the reasons why we saw, you know, BlossoM, if they ended up failing on this map, it was usually against really good Dive. And RunAway's the best team at this in the league, so Hawksall's having a field day here. As you can see, he's on fire, he's doing maximum damage. Illicit, not a chance.
I'm trying to take to the skies. He's gonna get taken down. Stitch popping up, still going aggressive despite being under fire. Gets that body tag in onto Soon, but can't get the execution. But Janu is just going off, gets rid of Sia. And they just go ahead, melee hit to the Baby Diva's face to take her down on the cart.
And you're always going to win the Widow matchup when it's not really a 1v1, when you've got Genji harassing you non-stop. And if you have your tanks defending Ons, then that means that, you know, the Genji is going to be able to attack the supports. So you kind of end up getting a little bit split here with the setup that BlossoM has. And Illicit can only do so much in terms of damage because he has burst, projectile damage, but he can't get an insta-kill like a Widow can, like a Genji can. Here comes the Blade into the back line, no support here.
Everybody's nice and grouped up for him on the low ground. Hawksall is dismembering that Pharmacy comp, gets rid of Illicit and Notori. And one ultimate follows up. They get rid of Swoon. No healers available. Ons not even going to make it back into the spawn room. The shurikens fly straight and true. He cuts down Ons. He takes out Sia. RunAway looking to get this map completion. Looking to go 2-0 up in the series.
Looks like it is a one and done here with this push. No one can stop them. Mineral coming out to try to delay, but he's got no support here. He's instant dead.
Yeah, Discord Orb just makes quick work of him. Hawksall going low, but still going to be sustained. They now try to swap over to the Brigitte, but she doesn't stand a chance either. On's taken out. We're just 0.06 meters away. One of the closest holds that I have ever seen, but it won't last very long. The Primal Rage knocks the Tory off, and RunAway move up 2-0.
They come in the favorites tonight. They showed us not only a little bit of the new meta, as we saw on the Paul, while Hawksall playing the Great Bara, but as we go into Hollywood against BlossoM on their best map, against their style, the Widow that Ons is so famous for, they're able to outdive, out-control, despite a bit of a, I'd say, tougher defense than probably they were looking for there on point A, and then the free streets phase that BlossoM had. The time bank was not good enough for BlossoM to get completion, and RunAway gets it with a massive time bank. Unnecessary, of course, but it just shows the dominance here. You put Hawksall on a Genji, you put Stitch on the Widow, and there's nothing they can't do, given enough space to work with, and the great tank line and communication that RunAway has. The coordination here has been better, and especially the Discord Orbs and the targeting of Mineral in particular on defense has been so good. So every time Mineral tries to come in and make a play, he gets blown up. And that's why a lot of the burden has been on Illicit to try to, in those moments, while the aggro is onto the tank, sneak into the back, get those barrages off, get that damage done. But again, there's only so much Farah can do. She's kind of a consistent damage dealer. She's one that does damage slowly, and it builds up over time. So in a small window of time, if you can't barrage a group of supports, you can do some damage, but eventually your time's going to run out. If you don't have tanks to peel for you, you die. So it's a limited time offer when a Farah gets in the back line.
Never mind, I'm not going to shill. I don't have any bias. I was going to make a joke about a certain jersey that's currently on sale. But BlossoM really struggling in this series so far. They've had a couple glimmers of hope and genius, but otherwise have overall been falling short. Ons, the Widowmaker, looking good. Better on the Hanzo than he